Why listening makes you powerful. See, most men, when it comes to a conversation, they can't pick up on the subtleties of the interaction. There's a lot of body language, tonality, micro expressions that go on. But when you're so in your head, you can't see all of those things. So I want to explain to you guys two different techniques you could use in your own interactions when it comes to listening to the other person to make your interactions powerful. So the very first one I'll start out with is going to be at the beginning of the interaction. And then I want to explain to you guys some more subtle, more nuanced stuff you could do mid-conversation to create really powerful results. So the very first part of this is when you're starting an interaction. Maybe you're going up and approaching a girl. Maybe you're at the beginning of a conversation with a stranger. You're in the elevator. You're in an environment where an interaction has started. We're just a couple seconds in though. And most guys, they're so in their head at this moment that, the old me would just try to avoid the situation at all. If you go up to somebody and try to start an interaction, pay attention to their body language and their eye contact and their vocal tonality, because there's a lot of dudes out there, they can't even carry a conversation. They're going to be very quick to just avoid the conversation as a whole, right? But if you actually go up and you start talking to a girl, or there's an environment where you're going to almost be forced to have at least a couple seconds of conversation, what I would recommend doing is pay attention to the other person's response the moment the interaction starts. If you ask them, how's your day going? Or if you went up to a girl and you asked her a question, or you're at the cash register and you just ask you make an observation, you say a question, pay attention to the other person's response. I know that may sound obvious, right? I'm telling you guys to just listen. But what I'm saying is, don't start to go into your head and think about where you're going to take the conversation. See, most men, when it comes to carrying a conversation, they go inward. We start to think because that's in our nature, right? Like we think logically in terms of like structure. I'm going to say this thing, then I'm going to take it this place, then I'm going to take it this place, then I'm going to take it this place. That's not how a genuine, fun conversation goes. It's spontaneous. It's unpredictable. It's random, right? Human interaction is random. And that's why I'm telling you guys, you can't try to logically predict the systematic structure to where the conversation is going to go. And so the moment you start going inward, you're by default actually going more into your head. Instead, what I'm trying to tell you is stay present, look and listen to the other person, because they're about to indirectly tell you everything you need to know about what to say next. It's not going to be up here. It's going to be there when they respond to you. So listen, the moment you say the thing, I just want to pay attention. If I ask somebody, how's your day going? Most people are not going to give you much. They're probably just going to say it's going well. Just another day, nothing to complain about. It could be worse. Good, you? It's going to be very, very default answers. But that's just the words on a transcript. What you really want to pay attention to and what you want to listen for and observe is the emotion. Listen to the way that they say the answer. There's a lot of emotion and subcontext that gets communicated outward beyond just good. Even though I could ask 10 different people, how's your day going? And all 10 of them just says good. They will all say it in a different way. There will be somebody who's excited. There will be somebody who's very formal and respectful. There's somebody who will be drained. There's somebody who will be stressed out. There will be somebody who's cold, temperature-wise cold, or maybe even personality-wise cold. They will all say the same word. It could even just be one word, but there will be an expression, a tonality, an emotion, a feeling, right, behind the words itself. And we get so in our heads that we fail to see or even think about taking the conversation in that direction. This also, by the way, doesn't need to be off of the initial open of the conversation, but it's a great starting place to actually use this technique, because we get so in our heads that if you could just stay grounded, you'll see that they're actually going to give you a lot for you to then comment on. Okay, and I think that's one of the easiest things to do is just instead of thinking about where I'm going to take this thing, it's like, what are they giving me? Yes, it's great to have some kind of canned default line that you could maybe take it to, but a lot of my interaction is just improv based off of what they're giving me, right? Because if I ask somebody, how's your day going? And let's say they all said it was good, but it's all delivered in different ways. Well, that would dictate my answer. I just want to comment on what I noticed about their answer. But it's really, what is the emotion behind the answer? What was the micro expressions behind the answer? Listen for those things, guys. They're going to tell you exactly how they're feeling. Nobody's going to blatantly state it. Most people are not that open in a conversation, but most people almost indirectly. Someone might say, it's going good, right? That's not the same as it's good. It's good. How about you? Those are do you see the differences there? But most of you guys would probably respond the same way to both of them because you're so in your head, you're gonna be like talking about you. Oh, it's good. Yeah, I mean, my day's good too. I might comment on that. I might be like, wow, that was so enthusiastic for a Monday morning. You either had an awesome weekend or you already had like your second, is that your second cup of coffee right there? You look so excited for Monday morning. Okay, that's a genuine answer. Now, I could give that answer off of somebody who just told me it's going good, but if they actually said it in an enthusiastic way and it was Monday, that's what it could be. If it was warm outside, there could be a context behind that. If it was the weekend, there could be a context around that. If it was the middle of the week, if it was incongruent and it was surprising, right? Like the Monday morning, that's like a surprising thing. So a lot of the times their answer, they could be excited, but they could also be stressed out, right? If it's Monday, they could be stressed out because it's Monday. If it's Friday, it could have been because it's a long work week. If it's Saturday, it's because maybe they don't have the weekend off. Maybe things weren't going their way today. And you could comment on that too, right? If he's like, it's good, nothing crazy. But you could then say, yeah, my day's going good. What's up with you though, bro? You had a stressful day at work or what's going on, man? Like you can actually just make an assumption or make an observation based off of the way that they're answering the question. And a lot of the times, people actually want to talk about these things. Believe it or not, most people that are stressed out, most people that want to complain about something, most people that are excited about something, they want to talk about it, but they're not just going to dump it on a stranger. So by you actually acknowledging the emotion behind how they respond, it creates a doorway for them to now give a more lengthy answer. They're not going to just open it up about a stranger, but since you asked them about it, you commented on it, it now creates this doorway for them to then go into it a little bit more. So that's something you could do on the front end. And that tip you can also use later on in the interaction. But I also want to bring attention to another concept that you could do later on in conversation. This is not going to be so much about the delivery, but I want you to pay attention to, just in a longer interaction, because pay attention to the way that, what topics do they bring up? How do they talk about those topics? People will indirectly tell you everything you need to know about them. Everything you need to know about them. Honestly, if I hang around somebody long enough, we could connect, we could talk about a bunch of different topics. I'll carry the conversation, I'll ask some questions, but I'm also indirectly paying attention to how do they answer the question? What is their viewpoint on life? What are their goals? What are their ambitions? What are their main drivers in life? What do most people misunderstand about them? What's a common thing that's misunderstood about this person? And I'm just slowly gathering all of the information about this person, guy or girl. You can do this on a date, but you can also do this when you're hanging out with another dude. You will slowly get a feel for this person as a whole. And I don't think most people actually pick up on these things because they're really in their head and they almost like struggle to just carry a conversation or open up or make it funny. But if you can just have conversation skills on autopilot, a lot of the times what I'm doing in a longer conversation, it's like, yeah, I do have the baseline of the conversation going the whole time, but I also am simultaneously looking at them from a meta perspective. And I'm going to explain why this is really powerful. Because if it's with a girl, the more you can really understand her as a whole, you can connect with her on deeper and deeper and deeper levels. And when they feel like you actually really get them on a deep level, assuming attraction's in place, it's game over, man. Like most dudes cannot create deep connection with women because they're so in their head about where to even take the conversation. So that one concept alone is powerful. Yes, you are going to need to be able to do a lot of these other elements almost on autopilot, so you could simultaneously kind of look at the person from a meta standpoint. Hopefully I'm not losing you too much right here. This is a little bit more of an advanced concept, but that's what I told you it would be at the beginning. But you can also use this with other men as well. When you're connecting with a dude, as I hang out with them more and more, yes, I do learn specific information about them, but I'm also indirectly paying attention to how do they talk about themselves? Are they asking me questions that brings it back to them. A lot of people will want to actually brag about themselves in conversation, but they won't just openly brag about them. You'll see that they leave these clues in the conversation that like they throw some bait out there because it's really exciting to them and they want to talk about it. And I'll take the bait and I will gladly take the bait and let them talk about the thing. But I also am very aware when they couldn't control themselves and they really wanted to talk about this thing because it's exciting to them and it's a juicy detail about them, like pay attention, because there's a lot of people out there that really make it centered all around them. All right, and you might even be one of them. So maybe this could even bring awareness to you. But I am very good at analyzing somebody while also carrying an entire conversation with them. All right, it's a very good skill set to have for a variety of different reasons. Number one, it will actually allow you to connect with women on deeper and deeper levels. So if you actually want to have a fulfilling dating life, it's a great tool to have. Same thing with making friends with dudes. These powers are not to be used in an evil way, by the way. These are actually great tools that you can use to create an abundant dating life and also have friends in your life. But also, you can also screen these people, because I'm going to also be able to get a feel for, is this person like a really good, genuine person? Is this person a little bit selfish? Is this person a little bit over the top cocky? Is this person a little bit greedy? Is this person like low-key a little bit evil, right? Like you can start to figure those things out too. And look, nobody in this world is perfect. Like if I broke down every single person's assessment, including myself, none of us are just fully perfect. And I'm very aware of that. But the more you can start to assess people based off of their answers and their viewpoints on the world and the way that they respond to certain situations, the way they talk about their past relationships, the way they talk about how their day's going, the way that they talk about their goals for the future, you can slowly start to categorize these people. And I'm not saying that you should only get close to like the best ones, but there's just different levels to friendship and different levels to dating. And I genuinely think if you want to invest a lot of time in certain people, all of the signs are actually there. Most people can't see the signs. I'm just now starting to see this stuff in the last 1 to 2 years of my life. I'm really starting to get a good feel for it as I age into my mid-30s. I'm going to be 35 in a couple of months. But when I was in my 20s, I would miss all of the signs. I wouldn't see any of the fucking quote unquote red flags. Most people talk about red flags in dating like it's this obvious red flag that they're waving. It's not until you go through a lot of dates or relationships and betrayals and friendships and failed relationships that you can now start to see a lot more subtleties that get brought up in conversation. You'll see the signs a lot earlier on in these interactions. So you need to pay attention to the way that people are talking to you. Initially, at the beginning of a conversation, how are they responding? What's their emotional state? Some of you dudes put too much pressure on the girl early on in the interaction by like not recognizing that she's not comfortable enough with you yet, and you just go right into displaying intent or flirting or name introduction, and it's very uncalibrated. You're not calibrated early on in the interaction. You're not paying attention. You're very in your head trying to follow a script or a structure or a predictable process. Conversation doesn't work that way. But then also in the middle and towards the tail end of the interaction, or if you're hanging out with a person or a friend or on a date, you should start to also be paying attention to all of these other subtleties that I'm picking up about the person. I'm putting together this puzzle about the person. Don't be overly assumptive about these things, but go into it with an open mind. Try to see the best in people, but having that meta view on the person simultaneously, maybe even taking a little bit of their bait and asking them deeper questions that give them a platform to potentially brag about themselves. Pay attention to how they answer those questions, man. That will tell you a lot about people, honestly. All right, use these powers for good because they are powerful superpowers, literally. Now, if you can't get to a place where you can carry a full conversation on autopilot or tease or flirt or create deeper connections with women or have an abundant dating life or network of high-level dudes in your life, and you want to get better with those things, I can help you with those things, okay? That's what I coach men on. That's what I'm extremely passionate about. I've made a massive transformation myself. You can click the button down below, check out the brand new coaching programs. I'd love to help you be the next transformation. That's all for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you were listening. Peace out.